Greetings, metaphysicians. This is episode 163, Bless Creation. And we are talking in this episode about something I say at the very beginning of every episode while I say our opening prayer. And we dive into what that means. What is blessing creation? And how can it help you to evolve? Enjoy the episode.
You're listening to Let's Get Metaphysical. This podcast explores the spiritual and metaphysical world through the experiences and opinions of the host and those interviewed. It should not necessarily be seen as direct endorsement or personal advice to our listeners. We encourage you to use your own discernment, judgment, and intuition regarding anything you learn from this show.
Let's get meta.
Welcome to the Let's Get Metaphysical podcast. I am your host, Renata Maniaci, here to remind you that you are a divine spiritual being having a temporary human experience here on lovely planet Earth. Make the most of it. This is season 7, Heaven on Earth, and this is episode 163. Bless creation. And I think we will jump right in. Are you ready? Let's get meta. Master Angels, I request your presence, guidance, and support through this episode. Please help these words to be useful to all listeners on their evolutionary journey. Let me know the truth, speak the truth, become the truth, and be the truth. And please let this episode reach whoever needs to hear it. Thank you with gratitude and full faith. Bless creation. And before I jump into the idea around this episode, which is bless creation, it is that time of year where I like to verbally thank all of the current members of my Patreon community that help to keep this podcast going. I'm so very grateful to anyone who has ever been a patron angel of this podcast. And there have been many. This podcast has now been running for 7.5 years, which is nuts when I think about it, considering that it took about 2.5 years of convincing by my angelic teams for me to actually do it in the first place. This thing could have been happening for about 10 years by now if I had listened right away. But either way, patron angels to this podcast come and go. Some people stay for a month. Some people have been with me all 7.5 years. And for any length of time, any amount of time that you have chosen to support what I do here, from the bottom of my heart, I'm so incredibly grateful to you for helping me to continue this work each month, twice a month. So I want to thank Sandra, Penelope, Paula, Michelle, Dana, Sophia, Nancy, Zebulon, Glenn, Susan, Peggy, Vicky, Josephine, Nevin, Larissa, Kim, Aisha, Debbie, Lynn, and Crystal for being my current active patron angels in this community. Thank you so very much. And I want to add that all these folks right now are supporting this podcast, are supporting me in a way. And I take tithing very seriously. And I also tithe to other organizations and people. And if you're not familiar with the word tithing, it means donating, giving money to various causes. I have had an episode, I've spoken in several episodes, I think, about this concept of giving, of putting out, not only just out of the goodness of your heart, which is the best way to do it, but also as a law of the universe, you receive tenfold what you put out. And so giving is also of benefit to you. All love is directed to the self on some level. So it's said. So it's, why am I saying that? It's so that we can understand the fuel that this creation runs on. We get what we give out. And so if you find a cause or an organization or a person, etc., worthy of your assistance, your support, your help in some way, it's only going to give good return to you if that person, place, or cause, or event, or whatever is, all of good intentions, is trying to put out good in the world. And that return is a natural law. It is part of how this creation is set up. And so we have those things that we can do here on earth. I give money to the camp that I grew up at because it meant so much to me. And I want to support it being around for it to help other children the way that it helped me at that time in my life. And just for how much joy it brought me. And so, it's good to bring these topics up and talk about them every once in a while. And I feel like doing that around this time of year. So moving on to what this episode is about. I say a prayer at the beginning of every episode that I'm sure you're used to hearing by now. And I end that prayer with the words, bless creation. And I don't know about you. I don't know if you feel those words as strongly as I do, but I literally feel enlivened. And sometimes I feel a little shiver every time I say them. And it's because there's almost nothing better that can come out of your mouth than to bless creation. Why is that? This existence, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, whatever your circumstances are right now, this is an existence. This is a reality. This is a creation. This is a life. This is a body. This is a lifetime that you alone did not create. Part of you did. Part of you is creating your reality right now. But this creation, including everything on this planet, everything in the universe and beyond, was not created by us, was not created by you or me. Something else, some divine intelligence, creative intelligence, created all of this. And our words actually mean something. The energy and the words and even the energy behind our thoughts send out a vibration. And I'm sure if you've been listening to this show for a while, you understand that. But it's always nice to have a reminder, because it's not like I remember that at every moment of every day. I certainly don't. But we strive to put out as good and positive and high and loving a frequency, a vibration as possible. If you are on the path of evolution, if you're consciously on that path, if you are aware that you would like to continue that path and continue to grow and continue to evolve, at some point you become aware that everything you think, speak, or do puts out a frequency that either is positive, neutral, or negative to those around you. It's just what it is. It's physics. And as I've said several million times in the last 7.5 years on the show, true science is true spirituality. There will be a time on this planet, there's already a time that is now and always in the universe where science and spirituality hold hands. We just have only reached a certain point on this planet thus far, and we see them as, most people see those two things as separate still, because we have not reached that point where they were in our vision and most people's understanding, those two things have crossed and are in fact the same and holding hands. But I'm saying this because we all emanate energy. Even with our thoughts, and that one's hard for people to wrap their mind around. That one is difficult sometimes, because if you are thinking negatively about someone or something else or some situation, that is a discernible emanation that is felt by others. And even if people don't realize or recognize what they're feeling, it's still there affecting everyone around you, including you. And that is also why, unfortunately, when we have negative thoughts about ourselves, which is beyond common, it is a most common occurrence on this planet among our species, unfortunately, but that also directly affects us, our own thoughts about ourselves affect our health, affect our mental and physical health, and affect our present and futures. And so why am I going into this? Why am I saying all of this right now? It's because the topic of this episode, the title, Bless Creation, these words, and if you just feel them, if you just surrender for a moment, relax, and let the words wash over you. Bless creation. What do you feel? And feel free to write in and tell me what you feel when you hear that. Try saying it, try thinking it, try feeling it. Why am I talking about frequency and vibrations and the meeting of science and spirituality around this episode? These words are some of the, if not the highest vibration words that you can speak or even think or emanate. Why? Because everything is creation. Everything around you came from a higher intelligent source that created things, that created more things, that created more things. And so everything around you, including yourself, is creation, is part of creation. And what can we do with creation? What do we do with creation? Think of all the times that we are annoyed with creation or frustrated with various people or outcomes or situations, or have anger or fear around anything, right? A person, a place, a thing, a situation, an environment. How often do we have feelings, thoughts, emanations, even actions that are negative or that emanate a vibration that doesn't feel so good? How often do we react to those around us or whatever karma may be unfolding for you in a negative way? well, whatever we are reacting negatively to, whether it's a person, stubbing your toe, someone cutting you off in traffic, not getting something that you wanted at the grocery store because it's sold out, any other example that you can think of, we are essentially at the highest level reacting negatively to creation, right? Because it can all go back to that, this everything that has been around us, that's in front of us, that we use, that we see, it's all part of creation. And so one of the most beautiful ways to contribute to our own evolution and to be grateful, to appreciate, to love, to acknowledge, to applaud, to awe in, is to bless creation. It is something that could be thought or said at any time, especially perhaps when the alternative is thinking or saying something negative. These words can change and help us to remember that what we put out matters, and that there is a reason for everything. There is a reason for you stubbing your toe, or for not being able to buy the salad you wanted, or for that person cutting you off in traffic. You don't know it. You may not have the prismatic awareness to see why that happened. Maybe you do. But when we don't understand why something happens, or why someone says something that hurts us, or X, Y, or Z, it's easy to be negative. And our energy and words can damn those around us, even without saying that word. Our non-acceptance of what is happening around us is the opposite of blessing creation. It's saying on a subtle level, whether you understand it or not, that you're not okay with how things are functioning. You don't accept what is befalling you at that moment. And look, we can't, I certainly am not at the point where I accept every single thing that happens, but I'm getting there. I've changed. We take this path to evolution. We walk this path to higher levels of consciousness. And over time, especially if we are using tools that are known to work and are known to help evolve us very quickly, such as the processes and the tools that I talk about from my spiritual community, and transcendental meditation, things like this help to evolve us. And blessing creation is one of the highest vibrational emanations that you can do. And so in this time of the end of the year, this time of gratitude for many who celebrate any of the holidays that happen near the end of the year, whether in the United States it's Thanksgiving, many people celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, Festivus, winter solstice, summer solstice if you're in the southern hemisphere. Any of these things, a lot of people are thinking of gratitude right now and reflecting on the year before we change to a new year. And so blessing creation is something that you may want to add to your toolbox. It naturally just became how I end my prayers. Nobody told me to start using those words to end my prayers. But since I've never been religious, I've never felt personally connected to the word Amen, which many people say as a way to end a prayer, or even in general conversation in this society. And there's nothing wrong with that word. I don't have anything against it. I just never felt particularly connected, a personal connection with it. And so when I first heard of that phrase, bless creation, I started to, well, right away I resonated with it. And at some point it evolved, and I use that to end my prayer requests when I'm asking for things, when I'm asking the master angels for help, or for healing, or for guidance, or for a parking spot downtown, anything. My teacher, John Douglas, has spoken on these words a little bit here and there in various events. But why not emanate one of the most felt, I mean, you can feel this, I can feel this. Why not emanate that frequency? Why not, even in the face of something that is uncomfortable or unwanted or frustrating, why not, even in the face of those things, bless creation? Why not show appreciation and humility for what happens around us all the time, at all times, whether it's something that we are loving and excited about and in awe of or in wonder of, or not. I have found myself still in moments saying, damn it. And I'm trying to change my words to say, bless it. It's these little, seemingly little things that can really help to change us. And not only that, connect us with a deeper sense of meaning. There's so many times that, as careful as I am with my words, they don't come across well sometimes. And my tone is also something that I have been working with and hoping to improve. And sometimes it's better, it seems, and sometimes it's not. I can have a very harsh tone. Maybe you have something else that you're working on with your voice or some other aspect. But our words and our tone and our energy, our tone is basically energy, right? It's a different word for the energy that we're saying something with. That's what tone is. And all of it matters. All of it conveys something. All of it conveys either loving of creation or contempt for creation. And since I didn't create any of this, and since anything that I have created came through me from the divine, what can I do but bless creation? If I hold creation in contempt, where does that put me? If I'm a part of creation and I'm holding another part of creation in contempt, I'm also contempting myself. I'm also holding myself in contempt. Because it's all part of the same thing. So maybe we use this, and some of you will enjoy the energy of blessing creation. Maybe you've heard me say it enough on every episode for the past several years that it's something you think about and have tried out for yourself. But at the very least, what I'd like for you to get out of this episode is an awareness, more of an awareness of the energy that you put out and how it affects yourself and those around you and ripples out. It's in the moments that are hardest for us that we can make the most transformation, that we can evolve the most. It's easier to bless creation when you're happy and grateful and just had something wonderful happen to you or for you, or, all these things. It's easier to bless creation. But maybe if you get anything out of this discussion we're having here, next time you're upset and feeling or emanating negativity or contempt for whatever upset you, frustrated you, angered you, made you feel fearful or anxious, nervous, hurt, sad, maybe the next time that happens, in that moment where it's the most difficult to bless creation, maybe these words will come in so that you can remember, and we can all remember, that even if it doesn't feel like something we should be celebrating, it's still creation. You're still creation. Everything around you is part of creation. And the things that befall us are our karma. And so a way to acknowledge that, a way to keep moving forward instead of being stagnant or moving back, a way to acknowledge that you don't know everything and that you haven't created everything, a way to move forward would be to bless creation. And so I just want to say a few words to bless all of us and to hopefully emanate that energy out and around. Master Angels, please help all of us to embody what it means to bless creation, to really feel what that is, and help remind us that we can bless creation in any moment. Even in the hardest moments, we can bless creation. Thank you with gratitude and full faith. Bless creation. I will leave it there. I hope everyone had an instructive and evolutionary 2024. And here's to the most beautiful year to come for all of us. May it be the best year yet. As always, thank you for listening. Stay positive, stay safe, and stay meta.
The Let's Get Metaphysical podcast is an Up and Awaken production and is produced and hosted by Renata Maniaci. Our intention is to raise the vibration of the planet by sharing, validating, and normalizing spiritual and metaphysical experiences. The Let's Get Meta podcast is inspired by angels and supported by angels. If you would like to be an angel donor to the podcast, visit patreon.com/letsgetmeta. Thank you for listening. Stay meta.
Let's get meta.
Metaphysical.
Let's get meta.
Metaphysical.
Let's get meta.
Metaphysical.
Let's get meta.
Metaphysical.